It's an active weather morning across much of the United States as the storm system we've been watching is underway, bringing hazardous weather to millions. Severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, and blizzard warnings are all in effect. We're going to break it all down, plus take a look at the next 5 days, and we're going to do it fast. You're in the Blitz zone. A new episode of Cold Rains Weather Blitz kicks off right now, so let's go! Good morning, everybody. Jason Pritchard here with you, coming at you live from Morganton, North Carolina on Wednesday, March the 5th. It's about 9:30 a.m. as I record this video. We've got a lot going on. We've got a lot to talk about. You're here for Cold Rains Weather Blitz, which is a brand new show that I'm kicking off to hit the weather hard and fast. And we're not going to dawdle and play around like we do on Cold Rains Weather World and get into too many details, but we are going to talk about what's going on out there right now and the next 5 days and what to expect. So we'll get you prepared for the next week. And we're going to start today with the big storm system that's underway across much of the eastern half of the country. You can see this counterclockwise circulation, beautiful comma head presentation on the satellite, a little bit of lightning. We've really dodged a bullet with this system as the instability has been very lacking. Lots of wind shear could have made for a major tornado outbreak. It did not, thankfully. I've seen a few storm reports, but no massive tornado outbreak with this system, and that is certainly good news. But as you can see, the eastern half of the country is under the gun with clouds, rain, snow, thunderstorms, wind. Everything is affecting much of the nation. If we take a look at the radar image, you can see that presentation really defined well. You've got snow on the backside in the cold sector from Iowa up into to Minnesota, to Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan, where we've been expecting snow, heavy snow at times, high winds, blowing snow, hazardous travel. So stay inside if you can do that. A strong system is bringing rain around that into this consolidates along just ahead of a cold front where you've got strong storms and upward motion here that's bringing potential severe weather into the Carolinas. So we're going to take a look at that here in a minute as well. Little system working into the West Coast. All of this is going to move off to the Northeast and bring you folks up in New England, Boston, even the northern mid-Atlantic, some rain here shortly, and a little bit of snow up in Maine. Our hazards map is lit up today again. We've got blizzard warnings in Iowa and Minnesota, winter storm warnings up here in Wisconsin, blizzard warnings UP of Michigan, severe thunderstorm warnings across the Carolinas, or tornado watches, I should say, with severe thunderstorm warnings, and then a severe thunderstorm watch down here across Georgia into Florida. Wind advisories and high wind warnings and the gold wind advisories are in effect for much of the central and eastern portion of the country. We've got tornado watch, as I said, in effect till 1 o'clock for much of the central portion of and eastern portion of the Carolinas. I expect that'll be extended over here later on this afternoon. As far as warnings go, we had a couple of tornado warnings, looked like they were Doppler indicated, severe thunderstorm warnings with this line. Fortunately, we haven't seen that many strong reports of super strong winds in this area, just not enough instability to work that to the ground. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning down here in Georgia, parts of South Carolina, Florida. No warnings on this line, I don't think right now. No, that expires at 10 a.m. So hopefully this part of the line is winding down. Mid-Atlantic into the Carolinas, you're under the gun for the next couple of hours. Our national weathers, or the storm prediction centers, got the enhanced risk over the eastern portions of Virginia into the Carolinas, slight risk all the way up to Lake Erie, southern mid-Atlantic. So anybody in this area could certainly see a quick burst of winds. This line is moving very rapidly to the east, so it's going to clear out by this afternoon into the evening. But anywhere in the slight risk, even this green area, you could see a severe weather or a severe thunderstorm with winds gusting around 60 miles an hour or so. A lot of wind energy aloft with this thing. And so we'll see that line move on off. You could see a couple of brief spin-ups in here, but again, not a major tornado outbreak. Thank goodness for that. Storm reports. So look here. So this is yesterday. We've got a lot of wind reports. Some of these back here in Texas and Louisiana, we saw wind gusts up into the 70s. A couple of reports of 80s. A couple of small tornadoes that touched down in Oklahoma, one in Louisiana. Thankfully, as I said, instability was lacking, so this did not turn into a major outbreak. We've got some other wind reports across Mississippi and Alabama. It looks like most of those were in the 50s or 60s, just reports of wind damage. And today, not a whole lot out there, just a few reports up here in North Carolina, one in South Carolina, one in Georgia. So thankfully, it looks like the event is kind of winding down a bit. And as we look at our Atari map here, our surface map, you can see that low pressure up here toward the lakes, heavy snow on the backside, general precipitation around this, mixed rain and snow at times. Most of this is rain. And then you get into this severe threat along the coast and another system kind of working in here, but high pressure in the middle of the country. So that is your current weather roundup. So as we take a look at the next couple of days and really the week ahead, we're going to start with our jet stream pattern. We've got a split flow, so we've got a northern branch up here across the north. It's not really indicative of that on this picture because you see this negative trough associated with this big storm system that we're dealing with now. But watch what happens as we put this into motion over the next couple of days. So Tuesday we go into tomorrow, or Thursday actually, we get a little bit of ridging down here. Then Friday that works on off to the east. Another little system moving in. These are going to be light, fast hitting systems, and they may bring some precipitation to parts of the Intermountain West and track along toward the east as well. But no major wound up systems as we go on through Saturday, Sunday, into Monday. This is a very progressive flow, very zonal west to east. And so you can see the jet stream here, kind of split flow, southern branch, northern branch. As we get into this afternoon, our system that we're dealing with today continues to move up. We've got snow on the backside, Wisconsin up to the UP of Michigan, where there's blizzard warnings and winter storm warnings are in effect. Severe thunderstorm line is pushing off the eastern Carolinas up into the mid-Atlantic, into New England. You're going to get mostly rain out of this, and then that pushes on off as we go through the evening. Quick hitting system, maybe a half an inch to an inch in some spots. Another system's pushing into the west coast, so continues to see a little bit of rain and snow for the valleys, and up into the peaks you'll get some snow. And that will move off. So tomorrow, that system moves into the Rockies. Our previous system is moving off. As we go into Friday, we're looking at a little system, upper level system is going to bring some light precipitation to the middle of the country. Nothing too much to speak of. The southern branch gets a little bit involved, and so we'll see a little bit of rain, maybe a couple of storms across the south. Nothing too major here. That'll continue into Saturday, into Sunday. Monday looks pretty quiet with another system kind of tracking in here. This may set the stage for a bigger system down the week, but as you can see, the pattern settles down a little bit. We don't have a lot to deal with in terms of major storms. So what about temperatures as we go the next few days? Looking at our average highs, we'll start here so we can see 20s and 30s across the north, 40s and 50s across the central part of the country, and then not till we get down to the border, we start seeing 70s for average highs, even some 80s showing up in South Texas over into Miami. So these averages kind of creep up as we go through March, as you would expect. But this afternoon, we're looking at highs below freezing, generally where it's been snowing or is snowing, 30s, 40s, and 50s across much of the rest of the country. Not till you get to the border, we start seeing 60s and 70s creep in. Tomorrow, kind of the same story, a little chillier out here in the Rocky Mountains, but that cool weather pushes east, 30s and 40s, and then 70s creeping in across the south and Texas. That's going to persist as we go into Friday, a little bit of a larger area of warm down here, chilly across the north. Saturday, get a bit of a cold shot that comes in behind one of these little systems we were talking about. So pushes 40s down into Texas and then down into the southeast is really your only warm spot. It really cools off up here in the northeast, but that's a quick hitter in and out. You're going to see that kind of rebound as we go into Sunday and then into Monday afternoon. Much of the nation begins to rebound. It looks like a nice period of warm weather coming up just beyond the 6-day period here. And so that's your temperature outlook. So really tying all of this together as we look out a little bit in time, not much to speak of weather-wise. Our impactful event is exiting the country, and we don't see a lot of impactful weather over the next 5 to 7 days. As a matter of fact, our D4 to D8 probabilities here with our Storm Prediction Center outlook is too low. So that means that they're not seeing any sort of severe weather threats over that time period. As we look on at the Weather Prediction Center and look at total precipitation that's expected, much of what you see on the East Coast is occurring with this current storm. So once that moves out, we're going to see a little bit of light precipitation over the southeast potentially, but outside of some clipper action in the northeast, I wouldn't expect very much up there. Systems continue to move into the west coast, so some of the mountain ranges out here, coastal ranges, and the Sierra Nevadas could pick up quite a bit of rain in the valleys between, and you'll see these systems kind of track across the country, which is why you see this little footprint of light precipitation over the next 7 days. So we're settling down. Our active pattern really is going to continue, but it's progressive, and we're not going to see anything kind of spin up in a major way over the next 5 to 7 days. We'll see light precipitation events. Temperature-wise, above normal expected. Much of the center part of the country is where your greatest probabilities are as we spread into the eastern half, above normal. below normal to the west, so probabilities there are good for below normal temperatures, but above normal precipitation. So down here in Southern California, up into the western, essentially third or fourth of the nation, that's where your greatest probabilities are as those systems kind of work in. They weaken as they move east, but you still get a little bit of a footprint of a potential probabilities of higher than normal precipitation across the north. And then finally, our snowfall outlook. I've filtered this to really filter out the system that's moving through now. And so not a lot to speak of in the snow department, just a little bit as these clippers kind of move in. You get a little lake effect snow, maybe some upslope snow here along the Appalachians. These systems come in, it's a little bit colder in the higher peaks, so you're going to see a little bit of snow out here in the Rockies. But outside of that, not much to speak of. It's going to quiet down after this storm system, and that is fantastic. We could all use the break. And that is it for today. If you get a chance, subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you like the video, comment, give me a suggestion, make a prayer request. I'll pray for you. I'll do whatever I can to help lift you up and encourage you through whatever difficult time you're facing. A comment about the show, question from me, happy to answer that. And we'll be back again with another weather blitz probably tomorrow and a Cold Rains Weather World in the next couple of days, and we'll do some fun things on that show and a deeper dive behind some of the mechanics that drive the weather. So don't miss that. Anyway, take care. Have a great day. Stay safe. If you're under alerts, take those seriously. Don't drive where it's hazardous. Buckle down and batten down the hatches. And much of the eastern part of the country, it's going to be windy. Keep your weather radios handy, and we'll see you back soon. Take care. Bye.